So that then takes us to public comment. But before we begin that, obviously there have been a number of you who have joined us since the beginning of our meeting. So I would like to be able to make just a couple of comments that were stated and share some information that was provided at the beginning of the meeting, even before we move into public comment. It is our practice when we have heard public comment to respond to that at a later date. Today is that later date in response to the information that we received at our last board meeting. So just a couple of points. As you may or may not know, AHEC and the board received feedback that the Auraria community wanted more time and opportunities to get familiar with the master plan and provide feedback. To demonstrate our commitment to ensuring community understanding and support of the plan, we've postponed the vote to adopt the master plan until the June 26th board meeting. In addition, we also, as the board, would like to acknowledge the letter from the Auraria Historical Advocacy Council, or AHAC, and I would like them to read into the record, again, this was already done at the beginning of the meeting, but I think it warrants repeating, a response from the board that will be provided to AHEC's leadership. So I'm going to read that letter. We also have copies available to share. That letter reads, on behalf of the Auraria Board of Directors, I want to thank representatives from the Auraria Historical Advocacy Council, Displaced Aurarians, their descendants, and community members who shared their concerns at the December 13th, 2023 and February 28th, 2024 meetings. Your frustrations are clear. I assure you that we heard you and are sorry that everyone's collaborative efforts have not reached the shared desired outcome. We desire a more constructive engagement with you and all persons displaced from the creation of the Auraria campus. And we recognize that everyone must work together to build productive relationships, to develop trust with one another, to best honor the legacy of this land. We acknowledge your sincere intentions in calling for a permanent partnership that ensures your community has a voice in the stewardship of the 9th Street Historic Park and St. Cajetan's alongside the Auraria Campus Institution. As a board, we are open to exploring opportunities to thinking very differently about how the 9th Street Historic Park is managed and operated to foster respect, recognition, and reconciliation. Leaders from the Auraria Higher Education Center, the Community College of Denver, Metropolitan State University of Denver, and the University of Colorado Denver are discussing the requests you submitted at the February 28th meeting. To move forward, we propose convening a working committee including representatives from the Auraria Campus Institution and Displaced Aurarians to work through these requests and develop a proposal for the board. We delayed our vote on the Auraria Master Plan until June and hope we can continue conversations so the next 2 months can be used constructively. The leaders of the Auraria campus are grateful for the many ways we have made progress together over the years, including through many meaningful projects such as the recent expansion of the Displaced Aurarian Scholarship, the Museum of Memories, I Am Auraria, our collaborative work on the proposed Peace and Healing Garden, and the forthcoming Displaced Aurarian mural from Jolt. We recognize that we cannot appropriately honor the history of this land and the people who were displaced from it without continued collective work. We hope to build better relationships and formalize arrangements to guide our future work together. We are grateful that Displaced Aurarians desire to have a voice and stake in matters concerning their former home. Your involvement will enrich our campus by ensuring your voices and histories will forever be shared for generations to come, honestly and authentically, through our continued commitments to the restoration and preservation of the 9th Street corridor. That will be signed by me as chair of the board, and again, copies are available to be shared. With that then, would like to move on to public comment. As I indicated, there are 7 individuals. We'll call them up one at a time. We are asking that everyone please adhere to the 2 minutes per person speaking limit. and would ask that you clearly state your name and speak into the microphone. And the first person on the list is Anthony Garcia. Good morning.
Good morning. I am Anthony Garcia. I'm a displaced Aurarian. I was born and raised in this neighborhood. I attended CCD. I got my degree at UCD, and for the last 25 years, I've been a faculty member in the Chicano and Chicana Studies at Metro. So my roots are very deep here. I am also the Executive Artistic Director at Su Teatro, Cultural and Performing Arts Center. As promised, the Auraria community, Displaced Aurarian community is here today. Can you raise your hand if you are a Displaced Aurarian, or a descendant of a Displaced Aurarian, or a West Sider with deep West Side roots? Let me know, yeah. We are glad that you offered this response to the comments that we made. We were very concerned because we were not, I guess, maybe as clear on the process as what was happening. But we are back today, and we will continue to come back as we address this issue. And thank you for stepping forward with that. But this is only the first time, well, this is not the first time we're going to go deeper into these things. But I think one of the things that we're really very concerned about is having that codified, structured engagement, something that is written into space so that we can continue that conversation, because it seems like as we've done things sporadically. You know, I've done stuff with my group to talk about that history, but what we've also not done is ever put ourselves into a place. We believe, I really appreciate you talking about your master plan. I don't think you can have a master plan without including us in that master plan, right? So, presently, our focus is on 9th Street. We have as an entrance into the campus, and as a place where you had to pass St. Leo's in order to get to that campus. We think that's an area that we need to have some oversight into. That 9th Street is the key because it is the remainder of what was part of our neighborhood. I remember being a kid, like 18, 19, and walking on my way to campus when we were on, UCD was on 14th. Am I done? Am I done? I'll just wrap it up here. I'll just wrap it up here, just the last thing. So we would like to proliferate the area with gardens, artwork, and signage that will educate the area academic community and the general public about our collective lived experience. As is our tradition, we seek to contribute, enhance, and illuminate. And we believe that we are just in our demands for our ancestors who gave up their land for this space, and for those children who will come forward into this space. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Jackie Martinez Wells. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Jackie Martinez Wells, and I'm here on behalf of the displaced and dispersed population of St. Cajetan's, the first Catholic church in Denver to hold Spanish language services for Mexican families and marginalized Hispanics from New Mexico and southern Colorado. Despite the financial setbacks they faced to build their spiritual home, this early 1920s community used their blood, sweat, and tears as capital to earn financial backing from legendary Irish Catholic philanthropist J.K. Mullen. Historical documents and oral histories are evidence that St. Cajetan's parishioners remained committed to sustaining their spiritual home for many years after the church was built. St. Cajetan's Church, once a sacred place for these people and now an event center, lacks the historical recognition of its founders and original purpose. Its two Spanish-style mission towers remind us that our spiritual beliefs and educational values are intrinsically connected to our history. They are a welcome sight for ex-parishioners and their descendants who visit the campus. Yet the inside of this historical landmark lacks the remembrance of the people it served, people who adapted to an ever-changing society, yet maintained and warmly shared many of their cultural and spiritual traditions with non-Catholics and non-Latinos. Originally named San Cayetano Iglesia, the switch to using St. Cajetan's Church indicates this. The former St. Cajetan's rectory is attached to the church by a passageway that evokes memories of the priests who used it to enter the church. But its function was much more than that, because the St. Cajetan's Community Credit Union, an undeniable parish economic and employment resource, was also housed in the rectory. St. Cajetan's Church, the rectory building, and the passageway should be restored and recognized for their historical significance. We, the Auraria Historical Advocacy Council, is ready to oversee the restoration work. And finally, as we go forward in these endeavors, we and the displaced Aurarians deserve free on-campus parking. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Stephen Forto. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Stephen Forto. I'm a direct descendant of the Torres family who own the lovely home at 1033 9th Street. I come to you today with a list of demands to ensure the preservation and ongoing knowledge of the Auraria Valley's rich history and contribution to Denver as we know it today. First off, at 20 years old, I moved here because being this close to my family history has given me a sense of comfort and pride. It makes me proud knowing my kids and my kids' kids and future generations to come will be able to walk down 9th Street and educate themselves on the history of Denver, the Auraria area, and our own family history. That is the reason the plaques, signage, statues, and memorial gardens are so important to its preservation, and how developing on this area of such rich history will be doing Denver as a whole a great disservice. Being here and developing myself in the true Denver culture has given me the drive to utilize and fulfill my duty as a displaced Aurarian by obtaining my degree, and I have full intention of sharing that with generations to come. Lastly, I must address the parking situation. Being an active student attending campus, having to pay upwards of $10 a day just to attend studies is absolutely absurd. Not only is it absurd, it is a deterrent to anyone looking to absorb the historical significance of the Auraria area, and at all costs must be abolished. It is just not fair for tax-paying students to have to pay to park just to attend class. And I can't thank everyone enough in this room for giving me the opportunity to speak from my heart on matters that mean so much to Denver's historical significance, the Auraria Valley's history, and my family's presence, past, present, and future.
Thank you. Next, we have Angie. Oh, Angie, forgive me.
It's fine. Good morning.
Please, for the record, though, appropriately pronounce your name.
Yes, good morning. My name is Angie Rea. I'm all Piatti. I want to thank you for allowing us to be here this morning. I am a proud descendant of the Displaced Aurarian community. I'm also a recipient of the Displaced Aurarian Scholarship and studied human behavior science. And through that opportunity, it afforded me the ability to run for an elected office. And I was voted the first Latina chair in 51 years to run the RTD Board of Directors. And during my tenure, during the pandemic, I might add, I hired the first woman and the first woman of color as the first CEO. My grandmother, Amanda Rivera, lived in Auraria. I and my 7 brothers and sisters were all baptized at St. Cajetan's. I want to share with you today how important this request is that we are asking of you. It's not because we want to go to another meeting. Lord knows we've done enough of that. And why do we want to oversee land issues? This isn't just a campus. This is our ancestral home, and it holds hollow ground in our church and the homes of our grandmothers, our mothers, and our community. It's a place where we learned our culture, our values, and our commitment to community. It is where we do not want the richness of our history to be forgotten or the promises made not honored. We want to make sure that our children, our grandchildren, and all those who will walk on this hallowed ground pause and remember this Latino community through the work of the Volunteer Community Board. I will always remember where I came from. As I attended classes, I will always have a sense of my ancestors walking next to me. Today, I'm walking into this room like my ancestors opened the door and asking for you to approve this board. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I call the next speaker, I'm going to make a request that you watch the clock and just announce that time is up there instead of the beeping. Thank you.
Really?
Thank you. Next, Selena Benitez.
Good morning. My name is Selena Benitez. I'm former state representative and I am the author of the Aurarian Bill, which gave permanent scholarship and reparation to the people of the West Side and the displaced Aurarians. Very important in my legislation, and if I would have known I was going to be here today to talk about 9th Street, I would have written it in the language of the legislation about 9th Street. Very quickly, I thank you for your response and support of the Aurarians. I believe that it's very important that this board commit the 9th Street designation for the Displaced Aurarians Advisory Council to govern that street, to be the individuals, not to operate it, not to collect finances, but to make decisions about who is involved and who is in those places. It is only right that that happens. And that in the master plan, there is a designated language, because we all will not be here after a while, to actually communicate that there be a place for the displaced Aurarians. We have very much the same family here in the West Side and on the campus across to that Capitol. As you know, there are some people that sit in those seats that are displaced Aurarians. And so the idea that we support this campus, not just as displaced Aurarians, but as the citizenry, and to all of you. I was at the 5820 event. So it's very important that you and we understand that we are not going away. We as a people are not going away. And we need to participate in that 9th Street so that children in the future will attend this campus. You need us. You need us. Thank you. And thank you for your continued participation, Representative Heath. It is good to see you. Betty and Waldo would hug you.
Thank you.